Aaron, you're muted.
Will all be a painted that kind of burnished. It's not black, but it's just off of black. And the glass will basically be clear low E. So it's fairly, there's not a lot of different materials, but and the other thing that's a little different on the elevation is the architect has eliminated that stair tower going all up to the roof. So it just goes up to the top of the roof now.
So it caps off at that brick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Meaning there's no black volume on top anymore,
No.
right? Okay.
No. And there won't be umbrellas up there. He does want some trees on the top, which I have mightily tried to talk him out of, but he's seen it somewhere and thinks it's, so he may plant some trees for a couple of years. So he figures out it's not going to work very well, I think. But
Cool.
Jesus.
Sure.
So is the roof not occupied then? Is it just a roof?
He does have a stair that goes up to the rooftop, but it's not going to be it's not the whole rooftop. There's just a small little area right at the top of the stair. He wants to be able to go up on the roof and look out.
Cool. In this process, usually, you walk us through the whole thing and then we ask questions, but we can just
that's fine.
dive right in and ask questions if you want.
I'm
okay. Okay. Are there, are there other elevations or is it just?
That elevation, as you'll notice that you have in those two, that deck got eliminated. This was a previous to the final one, and I can get that to the city. But yeah, I talked him out of that deck because I thought it was horrible.
Is this the other? Are there any more? Okay. Oh. Okay, so committee, what questions do we have about this? Could we go back to the previous slide?
I have a question on these. Are they doors or windows on that top floor?
They were going to be doors. As you'll notice on the new elevation, they're not there just because they were on that particular rendering. He wanted doors, but I talked him out of that, and they don't reflect on that, the ones you have up there.
Where's the main entrance?
Say that again.
The main entrance.
It's just right there where that
is
on
it the black section.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the lobby, and the intent is that there will be some kind of retail restaurants on the main floor, and then just the second floor and the third floor would be office space.
Okay. So do you know if this were to be occupied with retail, commercial, or anything on the main floor, where would their signage go? Would that go maybe above the?
It would probably
suspended.
Go the first floor seat, or the second floor level is actually where the brick ends. Mm-hmm. So it would probably go right above those windows.
Above those windows. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, I don't think I have any specific concerns. I think it looks great. I love all the materials. Is this is it a veneer brick or is it going to be a
It's
solid
going to be
brick?
real brick.
Real brick. Cool.
Yeah.
I think it's outstanding. Any concerns, questions?
I guess from an architect's perspective, the thing that stands out to me is just you have the column, the pillars that run down this elevation, but the corners don't have that same mass. So visually, it's kind of floating, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's probably the only, I mean, really lovely thing. There's
I
some nice things about it,
actually
but
don't have a good. I haven't done the structural. I suspect I don't even know how I would do that. So that's something I think they'll run down. I don't know why the rendering.
I mean,
doesn't reflect them going
typically
down.
you're going to have a column in the corner, and then it's
Yeah,
going to be
no, I
outside.
understand.
You know, the thing will be
And
outside of it. But
these columns are going to be probably 50% at least heavier than what would be required, just because he wants a real heavy industrial look, and that's kind of what that second band of steel across there is. But I actually am embarrassed. I don't know why that doesn't go down. It's going to have to, because that is the supporting column.
yeah, you got that on the main floor, and you got it on the second level.
Yeah.
So that's the only comment I
It's
would
just
have.
been kind of like herding cats to get him to pin down. That's why I got rid of the doors, and there's a little glass thing in front of him that went away, which is reflected on the rendering that you have. But I'm sure there will have to be a column there that goes down.
Okay.
I think that's.
I think it looks great as well, generally. Nice materials. I think the only critique maybe is that the cornice of the second story that's in the brick feels really nice and prominent, but then you're missing sort of an answer to that up at the very top. So I think it's
hard.
not something I even want to make a proposal or anything on, but
I think there will be a little bit of a cornice, but he's seeing a building that has this rail up at the top that makes it look, and so it's not the same as the cornice on the brick. It won't be as heavy, but
sure.
There will be an ACM band up at the top that would be that same. That is an actual ACM color that we're going to try and match the paint to. We vacillated back and forth on whether to paint all the steel or let it be raw, and I didn't like that, so we're basically going to paint it all to match that ACM.
Cool. I like the glass railing as well. I think it's a nice design for being up on top there to not be a visually heavy element.
On the awnings on the bottom floor, are those are those solid or?
Those will be solid with membrane roof on them and
I
drains, and
like that. I'm wondering if there might be any awning to the main entrance to emphasize that a little bit more.
it'll have, I think it'll be some kind of either an ACM ceiling on it, that it's clear up there. There is a structural steel element that kind of continues through at the same level as the awnings, but it's not like there's a second awning there.
Are those the main entrance? It's looks like it's recessed back.
It is recessed back, and that upper where the second floor starts, so it's recessed back about 7 feet.
That's what it looks like.
And so that continues over, so rain won't fall right on the door. So it is protected, and we didn't want the awning to continue through it because it would we felt like we wanted to say this is the lobby to the office space.
Okay, we want to organize a motion. I think maybe the only thing that I don't think we have any requirements, but maybe we make a recommendation about that massing on the corners there with the masonry.
Yeah.
Anything else? I guess that maybe is me making a motion. So I guess we'll motion to approve with a recommendation that you figure out that massing on those corners to support that second layer brick.
I second.
Okay. Then all in favor?
Yes.
Yeah. Is that it? It did. It was seconded. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. James did.
I guess we didn't ask for any public comment. Yeah. Any of you here for public comment on this project? Okay. 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 Yeah, you can take these. Okay, thank you.
Will you tell me who you are? I didn't catch. Okay.
Bankhead.
Great. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah. Sure. So I'm Quinn Peterson with the Design Review Committee. I don't have any conflicts.
Bruce Fallon with Design Review Committee, and no conflicts either.
James Hall, Design Review Committee, no conflicts.
Megan Geilman, Design Review Committee, no conflicts.
Okay. Item 2, Morgan Lynch requests design review approval for a new 321 unit apartment building in the MCU campus mixed use zone located at 870 North, 50 East.
Okay, so this one we do have some additional slides. Let me run through those. So this is just adjacent to Brick Oven Pizza. There's the east-south elevations. Oop. There we go. Wow, it's skipping that. There we go. West partially. It's a very large building, so they can put the whole elevation in one sheet, but I think it gives you a good idea of what the building will look like. So there's your architectural elevations. Sorry, the cursor's not working. Can you just advance it for me? And again, the ends of the building, and there's a copy of the materials board. The one thing that Dustin wanted me to mention on that previous slide with the materials board is that you'll see a wood product on the materials board that is showing as unfinished, but the code would require that to be finished or stained in some fashion. But that's the architecture, that's the product in front of you, and I'll turn it over to the applicants.
Thank you. So yeah, applicant, if you want to walk us through some of the renderings, just explain a little bit. We're just here to evaluate the architectural renderings here on the project.
Right. So, hi, Morgan Lynch. I used to live in these houses that are currently there, so I've known this property for quite a long time. This is actually my first design committee review meeting, so it's a new experience for me. We've been working on this project for quite a long time. It's actually 306 units. I think in the agenda item it says 321 units. It's been reduced to accommodate some design elements, specifically the stairways on 50 East, and so it would be in the, I think, the east elevation, right? Is that the one that shows that? So it's 306 units, not 321. And other than that, I'm not sure what. I think we'll just probably handle questions here with, this is Corey Harris from Harris Architecture. So
awesome, thank you. Cool. So now we'll go through, see what questions we've got, and then see if there's any public comment, and then we'll make a motion. So I really appreciate the real brick and the real wood. Now, Aaron, you say the wood needs to be finished, and that would just mean some sort of stain, clear coat, or paint. Okay. Cool. Well, I appreciate the real wood and the real brick very much. Any questions?
I guess I'm curious, where is the real wood? Is that the lighter yellow kind of color on the elevation?
yeah,
Just wondering how predominant it is.
Yeah, yep. The yellow would be that. The entries would probably be some sort of a cement board vertically. So those would be horizontal. The entries would be vertically patterned, kind of differentiate them from those in a different color, obviously different color. And then the third element is that
Corey, can you talk into the microphone just
Yeah,
to make sure?
And then the third element, the white element that you see is a hardy, like a reveal panel or one of the cement board panels. It's just that reveal panel system. So good durability there. So between the brick, the wood, and the cement board, those are your main three materials. You know, you have some accent, you know, steel canopies and columns and whatnot, guardrails. This building, we've tried to set it up so that on the street sides, on 50 and 150 East, you've got the building and apartments on the grade level. The parking garage that's in the center. We also have a subterranean parking garage, and then we've got a ramping parking garage in the center that is fronted on the street sides by the building to protect it from, just shield it from view, right? So from the streets, you see apartments. On the interior of the lot, you can see there's a little portion of the parking garage that is visible. But yeah, that's on the upper level. It hasn't been completely designed yet, but you can see on that the elevation on the right. On level 6, there will be a rooftop deck that will house, you know, some outdoor space, hot tubs, barbecue area, canopy, and then a clubhouse, you know, maybe a 3,000 square foot clubhouse that will have just lots of glass, just opening right up to the east side. So that whole east end will have just views from Timp down to south, basically 180-degree views of the mountains and the valley. Where you'll have, like I say, the clubhouse. There'll be some exercise space just on that same side, but yeah, that's what that east side is showing. You'll have a lot of glass. That upper level, you can kind of see the glass railing, so it'd be a glazed rail, so it doesn't impede any views, either up or down. Just kind of gives you a real good view out and away. So,
Any other questions? Can we go back at the other elevations? Go back one more. Yeah.
Got to turn my own mic on. Is there a change in plane between the white cement board panels and the wood, or are they in the same plane?
They're separated by just a trim piece. There'd be some trim that would create the difference in change. So
that little trim piece on the colored elevation kind of made it look like there was maybe a depth
difference.
difference.
Yeah, it should have showed a shadow line, so there'll be some depth there that'll separate the two.
Is there any detailing in the brick that you have proposed for that base? It's kind of hard to go from that office building that we just looked at that has some really nice trimming and detailing and such.
Yeah,
to
this
to
one's
nothing.
a little bit more clean, right? It's kind of that, you know, you'd have a top, you know, some sort of a pattern or a course on top, you know, that separates it from the cement board, but it's just it'll just be just a trim piece that sits atop the rest of the brick that separates the two. So other than that, we're trying to keep it more of a clean, more modern feel on that. You know, all the top wouldn't have any trim on the brick where the windows are. The bottom would have a seal to shed water efficiently.
Is the metal screen on the garage intended to be planted so it's got some greenery growing on it?
That's the idea, is to kind of keep some vegetation that would be growing on. Obviously, it depends on the time of year, you know, what you get on it, but that's the idea.
What's the orientation of that?
That's facing the brick oven where it is today.
So it faces south then.
Yeah, if you were standing in the brick oven parking lot, you would see it. Well, it's actually semi-blocked by the actual brick oven building itself, meaning probably not as clear a view. You'd have to be standing in the parking lot on the north side of the brick oven to even see that.
Okay, any more questions? Should we see if there's any public comment? So I guess we'll see if there's any public comment. And then anyone here for this public comment project? Okay. Okay. Any motions, recommendations?
Can I make one comment?
Yeah.
Because of the height of the building, the base just feels small to me. And I recognize there's a cost implication to my comment, right? But it'd almost be nice if it was 2 stories tall of brick rather than just a single story. Again, I think there's so much visual mass to the 7-story building here to be supported visually with just one floor. That's probably the biggest struggle that I'm having with it, and wishing it would have been a little bit higher. So again, I've had a design review committee, but cost me $25,000 for adding brick. So I'm sensitive to that, but just purely visual.
Is this just comments between you guys, or is that just between you guys?
Yeah, you can respond.
There's no rules here. We can just go for it.
I was just going to say, kind of the thought that if you can go to the one that shows that long elevation that's rendered, that has the colors on it. Can we get to the one that shows the same? I think it was that first one. Keep going. Maybe it was the other way. Right there. So kind of what the idea with that strong brick base, right? It's the color. You've got a darker color for the base. It just, when we've looked at that, and we're not terribly opposed to it either, going 2 stories. We did look at that, and we just felt like this kind of framed, it kind of kept a good rhythm with that white cement board, the real oil panel cement board, having the brick up, or the brick down below, and the wood up top, just framed it nicely aesthetically. But I mean, I totally see what you're saying too. I mean, there's an argument both ways, I think. So
yeah, for sure.
I just got a text that there's a Zoom call. Brett just asked if we can include. I don't know. Is that a connection? Okay, so Zoom's no longer an option now that we're fully in person. Okay. Okay. Anyone want to make a motion?
Are we all afraid?
Yeah, I think we're all afraid.
No.
Do you think we should make your suggestion a recommendation, Bruce?
I don't know. I'm good either. It's hard to, I'd want to take a piece of sketch paper and draw it over myself to really understand it and study it. So maybe to just make that recommendation that they at least look at that.
Could it go up a half story? Like, I think that would add as much, enough.
Yeah.
Balance. I'm just looking at it visually.
Yeah.
I don't know if that
Chopping
is
the windows might be a problem.
We can look at it. I think the symmetry with the kind of the top wood, I mean, being 1 story and the brick on the bottom. I personally kind of like that, but
wasn't as clear in the non-colored rendering. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe we do that then. Not a requirement, but a recommendation.
Yeah. So I'll make a motion that we approve this the design as submitted, with the recommendation that they consider studying the base material and the height of that base material, the brick.
Okay. We have a second.
I'll second.
Okay. In favor?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Cool. Thanks. No, we don't. We're closed. It's over.